Hi everyone, I'm Sage White, the Volunteer and Outreach Coordinator at Casumas River Preserve. I'm on the trail today. Right now our facilities and trails are closed to the public, but I wanted to share some information with you about poison oak. It's a really common plant. You see it everywhere, but oftentimes people don't know what it looks like. It can vary in how it looks, where it grows, so I wanted to show you some of it on the trail today, and hopefully next time you're able to go out and hike, you'll have a little bit more knowledge and you'll be able to avoid it. So poison oak can vary in color, shape, size, how it grows, but one distinct characteristic about it is that it grows in leaves of 3. As you can see here, there are 1, 2, 3 leaves growing. That's very common, and that's a good indicator that it could be poison oak. So another way you can identify poison oak is by the shape of the leaf. The leaves have notches. If you see on the outside, the outline of the leaf, it has these relatively distinct notches. And so if the leaf is in a leaves of 3 and it has those notches, that's a good sign that it's poison oak. So I want to point out 2 plants that can be that people accidentally think are poison oak, or they don't know it could be poison oak. They think it could be these plants. The first one is the blackberry bush. So the blackberry bush does have leaves of 3 sometimes, but as you can see, it doesn't have those defined notches. It's more like a spiky rim. Also, it has the thorns on the stem. The other plant is a very young oak tree. So you can see the young oak tree here. It does have notches, but the notches are very different. The notches are much deeper and way more distinct than the poison oak, and it's also not growing in leaves of 3. So poison oak can appear in different ways as a plant. Sometimes it grows lower to the ground. It looks like more of an individual plant. Sometimes it grows like a shrub. As you can see, all of this here is poison oak. And then if we look at the tree right here, what's growing all along the tree here, that's poison oak. And it can sometimes act like a vine. So just because it's a vine doesn't mean it's not poison oak or a shrub or a plant. Remember, it grows in 3 different ways: a small plant, a shrub, or a vine. Another thing I want to point out is that poison oak sometimes does have a slightly different shape with the leaf. It's always growing in the leaves of 3, as you can see here, but it has less of the defined notches in comparison to these ones over here. However, it is growing in leaves of 3, so that is a big indicator. So always keep that in mind. And the saying goes, leaves of 3, leave them be. When it comes to the color of the poison oak plant, it can vary. As you can see, these leaves right here, they're much deeper green as opposed to some of these up here, which are much lighter. Sometimes the leaves can be very red. They can be slightly yellow. It depends where it's growing, what season it is. So don't rule out the plant being poison oak just because it has more of a red leaf or a deeper color leaf. The color can vary slightly. So really the best way to protect yourself from the poison oak rash is to avoid it, to stay on trail. Here at the preserve, we work pretty hard to keep our trails clear, so there's no overgrowth from the side. So if you're staying on the defined trail, you'll likely avoid poison oak. But on the off chance that you're at a trail that's really overgrown, it's really good to know these characteristics and check the plants before you walk through them to make sure you're not walking through a big thicket of poison oak. And one last thing I wanted to acknowledge is that the poison oak plant actually has a really pretty display of white flowers that bloom in the spring. Right now, a lot of the flowers are either about to bloom or have already bloomed, but as you can see right here, there's a small little bit of flower that's blooming. So just because it has flowers, that also doesn't mean it's not poison oak. And remember, the flowers, they're very small white or yellow type flowers that grow in little bunches on the poison oak. So that can help you identify as well. So I hope you all found this information helpful. And when we are eventually able to get back out on the trails here at the preserve, you now have hopefully a better knowledge of how to identify and avoid poison oak. And remember, the number one thing, stay on the defined trail. That's going to be how you avoid it the best. I also wanted to acknowledge at the end a few good things about poison oak. Poison oak does not give off this allergic rash to many of the wildlife out here. Actually, a lot of the wildlife eat the leaves and rely on the berries that are produced for food. So it does have really good qualities about it, and it's important in the environment here. So really, we don't want to eliminate poison oak. We want to learn how to live with it and avoid it as humans as best as possible. All right, thank you guys. If you have anything else you'd like to learn about, we're trying to create more of these educational videos. So go ahead and comment on any topic you think of that you'd like to learn more about, and hopefully we can make a video and give you some more information.